First things first, about your host, me. Who am I? My name is Vicki Li, and I work at the Wuhan campus. I actually have been living and working in Wuhan for 14 years now. 2 years at Wuhan University of Technology, where I got my master's degree in linguistics, and the other 12 years with Maple Leaf, including 1 year in Jinzhou campus. That was in 2015 when Jinzhou campus was opened. I worked there for the whole school year. And I started at Maple Leaf as a high school English teacher and then the assistant director and director. Right now, I'm responsible for the K-10 ESL program of Hubei's school district, which includes 3 campuses of Wuhan, Jinzhou, and Xiangyang. Xiangyang was opened 1 year ago. So again, welcome to today's session. And let's talk about criteria for learner success first. I assume that you are language teachers, right? Because if you are, or ESL teachers, because if you are, you're probably work at elementary and middle schools if you come to Maple Leaf. And Maple Leaf Elementary and middle schools are a little bit different from Maple Leaf High School. Maple Leaf High School is a pure international school that adopts international program. However, elementary and middle school, they are under the management of the local educational bureau and the government. Because in China, grade 1 to grade 9, it's compulsory education. Just for your information, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but in China, when we say elementary school, we refer to grade 1 to grade 6, and the middle school refers to grade 7 to grade 9. So the students in elementary and middle schools, they not only learn Maple Leaf courses, but they also have to learn the national curriculum. That is to say, Maple Leaf Elementary and middle schools are not like language training centers where you may have worked before, nor it is as academic as Maple Leaf High School. And in order for students to receive the dual diplomas in high school, the student have to pass a local English test. Actually, not only local English tests, but also local tests of other subjects before they graduate from middle school. And at the same time, they have to develop proficient listening and speaking skills so that they will survive successfully in Maple Leaf High School, because all the courses are taught in English. Students will have to learn subjects like science, accounting, marketing, literature, etc., all in English. And they have to have profound listening and speaking skills. And this is the unique pattern Maple Leaf has developed and implemented for the past 25 years very successfully. So to work at Maple Leaf, we have to understand this unique pattern and culture and bring it into the classroom. Like said, Maple Leaf School is not like the language training centers, where it seems that having fun is the priority, especially for very young learners. But at Maple Leaf, what is our expectation? Do we expect our students to have fun in class? Yes, of course, but at the end of the day, they have to learn something. They have to master the English skills that they need besides having fun. Furthermore, like mentioned earlier, passing the local test is really very important, not only to the student, but also to the school as well. Because if the student can pass the local test, that means their test result is very good, right? That is what Chinese parents see very important. I guess it might be the case for most countries in Asia, right? It seems that Asians attach more importance to test results compared with Westerners, right? And plus Maple Leaf is a private school. The better the test results are, the more students will enter Maple Leaf, right? And the more students enter Maple Leaf, ultimately, the more benefit the teachers will get, and probably a more pleasant working environment as well. So it matters everyone, and we have to understand it. And the two facts about Maple Leaf Elementary and Middle School is that, first, our students' listening and speaking abilities do exceed the students in most public schools. And it is due to three major reasons. One is, of course, because of our excellent international teachers. So that our students have the chances to communicate with the international teachers almost every day, and they love it. And secondly, is because we have more English classes than the public schools. In the public schools, students start to have English classes from grade 3. But here at Maple Leaf, our students start to learn English from kindergarten. Besides, we have more English classes each week compared with public schools as well. Students have 10 English classes every week. And in public schools, some of them only have 2 or 3. Yeah, I think. And lastly, it's also because our bilingual teachers, they also teach in English. And we encourage students to speak English, not only in English class, but also outside of the classroom. So all this determine that Maple Leaf students' listening and speaking abilities are excellent. However, there's another fact, another truth is that some students who are able to pass Maple Leaf level 7 may not be able to pass the local English test, which is not our expectation. So here I need to explain a little bit. In Maple Leaf ESL program, we have the leveling teaching from level 1 to level 9. And if students are able to pass level 7 by the time they graduate from middle school, then they will be admitted by high school international program, which means they don't have to spend another half year study the bridging courses. It saves time. So right now, about 70% of our grade 9s could pass the level 7. But not all of these 70% of students are able to pass the local English test. Why? Because the two systems are very different. In our Maple Leaf ESL system, we really focused on fostering students' critical thinking skill. And in the standardized test, take reading comprehension, for example, most of the questions are short answer questions. So the students are expected to express their understanding in their own words. And as long as the answer makes sense and is reasonable, they can get the mark, or at least a part of the mark. And there is no so-called correct answer, right? However, in the local English testing system, most of the questions are multiple choices, and the answers are just quite straightforward. You choose A or B or C or D. You have to choose the answer that the test makers think correct. And yeah, and it's very different. And sometimes the student does good in one system and they don't in the other. But we are working on it. This recent 2 years, we are working on blending these two systems together. We are trying to find a balance so that to help our students